Morning Bravehearts and good morning Garfield, New Jerusalem. Haha, it's me. Mr. Podcast himself is in the building. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Marv in the morning. It's a beautiful day here in New Jerusalem. The sun is shining. It's beaming through these windows. And I'm loving the weather. It is odd weather, though, it is Mondo odd weather for November. Mondo odd weather for November, that's for sure. But hey, man, if you're dishing us some sunlight, I'll take it. That's for sure. I'm not looking forward to the cold. I don't do well in the cold, to be honest with you. But welcome back, Bravehearts. Today's topic, we're going to be reviewing the Crime Junkie Podcast. We read a list yesterday about the top 10 podcasts on the entire planet. Joe Rogan was number 1. Crime Junkie was number 2. And I want to check it out. Let's check it out. I did check it out actually this morning, and I'll give you some thoughts. I heard about 2 episodes and also a short segment where they discussed, I guess, one of the cases of their episodes being solved. So that's pretty cool stuff there. But if you're watching post live, of course, timestamps will be below that you can skip ahead into the future. You can check out what's going on in 2020,005. That didn't make sense. But yeah, man, you can skip ahead to the future and check out the meat and potatoes immediately. But there's not a lot to talk about today as far as covering business side of things. The Mad Zaytoon episode is dropping mañana, 7 p.m. on YouTube. And then on Monday, it'll drop in audio form, in audio platforms. And then the audio and the video will be caught up. Audio and video episodes will be caught up and then be released on a regular schedule. So audio will come out a day before, video the day after. And check them out. Follow us on Apple and Spotify if you haven't already. Live from Bravery Studios, that is. Follow Live from Bravery Studios on Apple and Spotify. Other than that, let's get into the meat and potatoes immediately. I kind of want to jump into this immediately because I do want to also discuss my thoughts on the true crime genre as a whole. It is the dominant genre on platforms, podcast platforms. It just pretty much took over the whole planet, pretty much. People love them some true crime. But about the podcast itself, from the episodes that I listened to, I'm not sure which one of the hosts were reading or whose voice that was, whether it was Ashley or Britt. But let's read on their website. It says about the hosts. Let's get a little bit about these ladies. They do a phenomenal job. I can just tell you that much from a quality standpoint and from just how they articulate. They do it extremely well. Very well spoken. Very easy to listen to. Very soft voice. Very easy to listen to. This is their bio here. Don't worry, we are crime junkies too. We do all those crazy things mentioned above and more. Crime Junkies debuted in December 2017, has remained at the top of the charts with over 500 million downloads, 630 stories, and 600,000 donated to charity. That's a lot of money. 643,000 to be exact. Ashley is the founder and CEO of Audio Chuck, the award-winning media and podcast production company known for its crave-worthy content and storytelling loved by crime thriller enthusiasts. Ashley is also the author of the New York Times bestseller All Good People Here, a fictional crime thriller novel. That's going to be important to know later on, I'm sure. As CEO, Ashley works hands-on with her team to develop all aspects of the company and shows that she produces. She is also the host of several Audio Chuck shows, including the top-rated hits Crime Junkies, as well as The Deck, Red Ball, and Full Body Chills. While her shows draw in listeners with thrilling stories, Ashley and her team are always committed to developing responsible true crime content. In addition to her work at Audio Chuck, Ashley has also been passionate about bringing her advocacy for true crime cases out of the studio by establishing her nonprofit, Season of Justice. The foundation assists law enforcement agencies in solving crimes by funding grants that allow DNA testing for cold cases. She sits on the organization's board of directors and works alongside the team to support crime fighters and bring justice to the families of victims. As she was born and raised in Indiana, where she continues to live with her husband, her daughter, and her beloved dog, Charlie. She also received a bachelor's in science and biological services from Arizona State University. So this actually sounds awesome, to be honest with you. I mean, Ashley Flowers, awesome last name too. A shout out to Ashley Flowers. Seems like someone's very passionate about the genre and very passionate about crime stories in general. But the fact that she actually has a nonprofit that assists in in raising grants for DNA testing for cold cases, that does say a lot about her. It does say that this isn't just entertainment for her, and I like that a lot. I'm sure the thought process was most likely like, hey, it's cool to tell the stories, but we got to solve some of these things too. There's a lot of injustices that are happening out there. I guess we're all in need of a season of justice. I like her. I like her already as from reading this bio. Let's look at Britt. Britt grew up on a steady diet of forensic files and America's Most Wanted, eventually finding herself straight up binge-watching taped interrogations on YouTube. She was actually the one who introduced Ashley to podcasts 3 years ago. So if you love true crime junkies, you can thank her. Britt worked for a PI, for a while, which in our eyes basically qualifies her to be a crime research expert. That being said, if our facts are ever wrong, we are not experts. Some detective work, right, Scarlett? Some detective work indeed. Sounds like somebody we know. Britt worked for a PI for a while, which in our eyes basically qualifies her as a crime expert. That being said, if the facts are wrong, we are not experts. While she isn't getting full body chills, it's a weird thing to say. She's being a mom to her two amazing kids. In the rare moments that she has time to herself, that's hilarious, isn't it? She is probably watching a documentary. She's watched over 100 a year, and knitting with her two dogs, Niles and Rose, by her side. Britt says she's actually making knit items. But I really know she's just keeping extra strings around to make one of those badass string boards that every amateur detective needs to solve a cold case. I like the humor in it. Yeah, these ladies seem awesome. They really are true crime enthusiasts, and I like that they, like I said, it's not just about the entertainment, being entertained by these stories, but also solving these stories too, or helping them to be solved. Pretty cool jazz. I like these two hosts. They're pretty cool. And like I said, from a production standpoint, everything sounded great. It's straight and to the point. There's not a lot of lollygagging in the beginning of each episode. It just goes right to the story, which, in today's society with all of our short attention spans, is actually mondo good to just get right to it and get straight to the story, what we came for, right? Production wise, I think they're awesome. Scarlett says, hey, fellow yarn worker, I watch murder/crime docs while crocheting too. That seems to be the thing to do, I guess. You got to knit while you watch some crime stories or listen to some crime stories. The stories themselves, like I said, from the episodes that I've listened to, I do have to give a kind of put something in quotations here or parentheses to say that, hey, I'm not a true crime guy. I can only listen to so much horrible stuff happening in the world before it starts to affect how I feel. I try to be kind of careful with what I absorb, because they say you are what you eat. And it definitely is a situation with us that it's you are what you watch and listen to as well. So that's just my biased opinion. I'm telling you right now that I'm coming with a little bias towards not really being into the true crime jazz, right? I can watch a short show about it. Like I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer jazz a couple months ago, or was that exactly a month ago? And it was a lot. Like sometimes I just feel like, man, there is some dark jazz happening in the world today, and in general, and not that I don't want to be don't want to know what's happening. I of course, atrocities and murders and crimes. I do want to help them as much as I can from wherever I'm at and whatever I'm doing, but I cannot absorb that too often, because it does bring down my spirit a little bit to know that there's horrible people walking around doing horrible things. So it was kind of tough for me to even get through one episode of this. And not that it's delivered in a fashion that is, I guess, explicit, to say is the right word. It's not delivered in an explicit way. And like I said, the host's voice is very calming and very soothing to listen to. She has a great voice. And I like that she chimed in, the narrator chimed in with her opinions as well. Not just relaying the story to you. Something that's often said in journalism is you're not supposed to give your opinion on things when you are just telling the story. But that there's always a bias. No matter what anyone says, everything is written from a bias standpoint. It's just unavoidable. We got DJ Didi in the house, Derek in the building, JLG440. I'm not sure what that is a reference to, but hey, explain, Derek. Break it down for me. But yeah, so like I said, not a true crime guy. I do come from a bias standpoint where I don't think I could absorb this too often. Scarlett says a lot of people in the yarn community watch them while working, actually. I can see that being a thing, and I think it's pretty cool. And I have no problem with people who really, really get into the true crime stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with you as a human being if you are super, totally a junkie for crime stories, true crime stories. Hey, if that's your cup of tea, that's cool with me. I don't. Oh, Derry gets a star on the fridge today. Derry gets a star on the fridge today. Good job, Derry. Good job. Caught that. But yeah, man. Nothing against anyone who likes true crime, who likes to listen to it all the time, watch all the time. Totally cool. Like I said, it's a little too much for me sometimes. But from an entertainment standpoint and from a production standpoint, I think this podcast is awesome. Like I said, listening, soothing voice, straight to the point with it. No, hey, how was your week? You know what I mean? Being scripted too, much better for a true crime show than it is for someone else. Scripted content is not always the best. I don't generally listen to too many scripted podcasts. But in the case of true crime stories, yeah, I mean, you should actually have a script and you got to get the facts right. That's for sure. You cannot tell the story how it didn't happen. But yes, indeed. Continuing onward, right? My thoughts on the genre as a whole. Should we actually be concerned that crime stories dominate? And this is like a fact. This is law. The true crime genre dominates the podcast world. When I was going down the list of top 10 podcasts in the world, and about 3 or 4 of them were all true crime podcasts. So they dominate the genre. Or the medium, rather. Dominate the medium. And I don't exactly think that's a negative thing. Like I said, I think that it's akin to riding roller coasters. People that like roller coasters, people that want to thrill ride. That's why we listen to true crime stories, right? These are horrific, true events that have happened, but man, am I a junkie for mob movies or crime movies. I could watch a Scorsese or a Tarantino and kind of get the same kind of thrill ride out of it, right? These people pulling off these crazy heists. And I guess what differentiates a movie like that to a podcast like this is the perspective. Usually in crime movies, we are the criminal. We are watching it from the criminal's eyes, from his perspective, his or her perspective. And in that case, we get a thrill of feeling like, hey, yes, I am on the edge of my seat, robbing this bank, pulling off this heist, jumping out of this plane in the case of like Mission Impossible or something like that, right? And then we have the opposite, where we are in something like Crime Junkie. We are getting it from the victim's perspective. Usually you don't find out who the criminal or murderer is till the end of the story. The perspective is of the victim and the victim's families in most cases. So we tend to think, I guess what tends to happen in a human's head is we tend to think, man, if that happened to me, what would I do? That's kind of like, I feel like that's the psychology behind it. I'm not a psychologist. I have no degrees, no bachelor's, no nada. But it's the only way I can kind of make sense of why the true crime genre dominates the podcast medium. Like, this is just a fact. People love to listen to true crime stories. And yeah, it's a thrill. It's a thought like, hey, what if this happened to me, or this could happen to me? Like, I gotta be careful. Does it instill fear and paranoia in people when you hear these like nightmarish situations? And does it make you scared to go outside after that? Could be. Do people have a right to know what's happening, these horrific events? Yeah, I think so. Yo, I got a scripted pod for you to listen to, Marv. Welcome to Night Vale. I'll check it out. And maybe I'll do a review of it here as well. But what are your guys' thoughts? We have Scarlett and Derek in the chat right now. What do you guys think about the fact that the true crime genre dominates the podcast medium? Like, this is like the most listened to thing on all podcast platforms. I personally, like I said, I think it's akin to like a roller coaster ride. I think it's the same reason we go to Six Flags, to get the thrill. To put ourselves in the shoes of the victim. The same way we watch these action movies or these crime movies, and we put ourselves in the shoes of sort of like these action heroes or these mob bosses that, the cops could be knocking on the door any day now, shutting it all down, locking them away, thinking, how could I get away with this? Now we're looking at it from the victim's perspectives, and we're like, hey, man, if this happened to me, if a killer came behind me with a knife and, ordered me to do something, and if I didn't do it, I was in trouble or whatever. Definitely a thrill. Definitely a thought of like, man, if this happened to me, I'd be in trouble. But I think what I will do too, when I come to another true crime podcast, I probably wouldn't give it a review, because I didn't want to go down the list of all 10 podcasts and kind of give them a review. But if it's a similar genre, I think I might skip over it and skip to another podcast of another genre, just to get another perspective, just to be able to speak about more genres than just true crime. It's a thrill, yes. The mystery of something being solved after so long is it for me, though. I could see that too. We have these stories of these serial killers, right? The Zodiac killers, Son of Sam and Dahmer and all that stuff too. And the comeuppance. Scarlett's here for the comeuppance, which I think only in the Zodiac's case that he was not caught, or they have no idea who that guy was. But in the case of Dahmer and what's his name? Bundy, you guys were caught. Me personally, I'm not into those types of podcasts. Derek's like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Any particular reason why, Derek? Elaborate for us there, buddy. I feel the same way as you, but I want to hear if you have the same reason that I do. More. So Ashley Flowers, the producer, sounds interesting. Oh, so you would give it a shot if you came across it. Where's my mannequin? Yo, shout out to DX. And I think I've announced it already before, but me and DX were actually working on a true crime comedy podcast, which should be on its way soon. And tonight we're actually going to be, we should be finishing up the script for the episode we were just working on now that everybody's back in town. So it should be happening tonight. And I guess this is my reaction to the fact that this stuff is people are so obsessed with this stuff, is to kind of like say, hey, DX, we got to do like a true crime comedy podcast, like do it for the lows. Yeah, but it would have to be something amazing. All right, so Derek would listen to a true crime podcast, but it would have to be out of this world, not just any old true crime jazz, right? Bully. Facts. So yeah, we also had a great time with DX co-hosting on the interview with Derek last Saturday. Saturday was definitely a good time. Now, I guess in conclusion, because I've kind of said what I've had to say about the piece already. Would I recommend true crime to people? If you're, hey, listen, this is the number 2 podcast in the world. If you are a true crime junkie, then you're probably already listening to this, right? With 4.8 stars on Spotify, you know, I did saw the humongous number of viewers they have already, listeners. Yeah, I would recommend it if you're into this, because the quality and the production is great. And like I said, the voice, Ashley, great voice, very soothing. She gives her inputs. She gives her opinions on some of these topics as well. So Mondo, good jazz there. So yeah, I would recommend it if you're into it. Check it out. I'm actually going to be listening to a little bit more of it, because like I said, that since me and DX are working on like a true crime thing ourselves, I guess it wouldn't hurt to learn from the best about how to do it. Because even with writing this, I don't actually listen to too many true crime podcasts. So I guess where I get like my true crime fix is kind of like Scooby-Doo or something. And if you think about it, Scooby-Doo does count as true crime. Well, not true crime, I guess. I guess just crime. Mystery. I guess mystery would kind of be the better genre for it, right? But I think Scooby-Doo is as far as I go with these harrowing tales of crime. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, check it out if you guys get the chance. Check out Crime Junkie if you're not already. They're huge already, so check them out. The next podcast I'll be reviewing tomorrow is Call Her Daddy. Let's look it up. Which is, I think it's Apple exclusive. Yeah, I couldn't find it on Spotify. Let me check out Apple right now. Continue. Search. Call Her Daddy. Searching it up. Interesting. I'm not finding it on either platform either. Let's go to Google. Were they deplatformed? Is this an Andrew Tate situation? What's going on here? Let us see. Call Her Daddy. It is on Spotify, so interesting that I couldn't find it. Maybe I typed it in wrong. Yes, hosted by Alex Cooper. Call Her Daddy is the most listened to podcast by women on Spotify. In a world prone to snap judgment, Cooper cuts through the BS with every guest topic and asks the questions you want the answers to. Stop guessing what you're going to see. Okay. Stop guessing what you're going to see on CHD each week. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll feel, you'll think. New episodes on Wednesday, only on Spotify. Go to Call Her Daddy on Instagram if you want to talk about it. Yeah, so we'll be checking that out tomorrow. But all right, Bravehearts, I think it's shorty today. I wish I had more to say about this podcast, but like I said, I can only listen to so much of this crime jazz before it starts affecting my psyche that it's not really my thing. But we'll be back mañana. If you guys want, how about guys in the chat? If you want to check out this Call Her Daddy podcast, and then you give me your opinions on it tomorrow as well, because it'd be interesting. We get a group conversation, like a book club. We check out a podcast every week and listen to it, and we'll give our thoughts on it. But all right, Bravehearts, let's make it happen. If you guys want to join in on the conversation, go to Spotify, look up Call Her Daddy, and we'll check it out. The most listened to podcast by women on Spotify. But all right, Bravehearts, it's been good. It's been real. A little shorty today. We'll be back mañana. Look out tomorrow also for the Matt Zaytoon interview. It's going to be audio only, but it'll be on YouTube. I'm actually considering whether to put like video game footage in the video just to give people something to see while they listen to it. But what would be the perfect video game to match Matt's personality? I don't know. I got to figure that one out. Maybe Kirby Superstar. Maybe. But all right, Bravehearts, it's been good. It's been real. Stay brave and keep on keeping on.